All right, we're getting ready for our first shot. We want to take a picture of Gwen in the library. The library adds all this great detail and strengthens the subject, which is her in this case. So I'm going to do this a little bit backwards, where I'm going to figure out what I like about the space first, and then we'll put her into it. So I want to show you the room here. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, and so we have this light coming in from this side that's really, really bright. And then there's a fair amount of fall off when you come to me. And to that side of the room, it gets relatively dark. So when I look around here, over here, there are pockets that I don't love the light. It seems a little bit too dark there. It seems a little bit too dark there. So I want to put her kind of right here where I think the light sits right at the right amount for me. So when I see this, I'm going to ask Gwen, will you come on in? And I'm going to start with her. I'm going to start with her just sitting down here on the couch. We've brought the model in frame, Gwen, and we're going to start to, I want to talk to her and kind of figure out what we're going for, how she wants to be represented. It seems like always with you, we have to have your hair great. Like that seems one thing that we always shoot for.
I mean, hair is important to me, and I feel like it makes me feel feminine, and I always want my hair to feel big. For me, I have short legs and I have a really long torso. I have a small waist, and so I really want to emphasize that, and Justin does a really great job of helping me establish, the waist. Yeah, that's his phrase, establish the waist, and then just lengthen the legs out.
And we'll kind of fine tune that when we get into posing. We're just starting, like we said, I want to start with her with just really natural movements. And it's like, from when I see what the camera sees, I really like our starting point. But I'll grab the camera here in a moment and we'll just kind of get going. But even asking little questions to your subject to say, how do you want to come across? Is this shot happy? Is this shot, thoughtful? Gwen usually, so kind of your style is traditionalism, like a modern traditionalism. And like if you look up in her house, a lot of her paintings are, like a lot of her artwork are paintings where the people in paintings were looking at the painter. And so our poses that we usually use for you, I think we try to emulate these paintings where the subject just like is content.
Well, and that's more my personality too. I'm not necessarily this fun-loving, funny person. That's Justin. So I would say I'm more like stoic, and I want that to come across. But I think we do a really good job of capturing.
And it has kind of become our, like how we shoot you is looking at camera, maybe a teeny bit of a smirk, and maybe we kind of know that, but oftentimes your subject, you'll kind of know who they are as a person ahead of time. It's very rare that you'll have somebody who's like seems super grumpy and then they like light up on camera. Like that can happen in some cases, but most people want to be captured in the way that they normally are. So we're going to get going. I'm going to grab the camera and get a few shots and we'll start to show you along the way. We're going to get into those 7 common challenges and we're going to address each one of them here with Gwen.
Action.
All right. So in my 7 challenges, the first one is awkwardness. And I want to address that here with Gwen. Gwen is not a professional model, so she doesn't get in front of the camera and just start moving around. But the way that I try to work with her to help minimize the awkwardness is by having a clear vision for what we're doing. So like we just talked about, that she kind of knows already what her pose is going to be. And I'm saying, I want you to just sit here. Just sit and look towards camera. And hopefully some of that kind of minimizes it. Would you say that kind of helps? Or how would we reduce awkwardness for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's really important that as the photographer, you kind of take the lead. And for someone like myself who doesn't necessarily know what to do with myself and doesn't always feel confident in just assuming I should move this way or that way or look that way, I love that you give so much direction, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And that kind of gets us into the second part, which is posing. So I'm starting with Gwen sitting right here. I think that having one of these legs kind of coming towards her, I'm going to say, will you bring that leg, just lengthen it out? All right. And then you can kind of point this toe. So I'm starting to lengthen her out a little bit. I want to show, she said she wants to show that her waist is small. So I think that we either have to, I'm going to have you move with me. We either have to like create a gap here and some space, or somehow show there. So if her arms are here and there's no gap between, then her full width is from elbow to elbow. So we have to break that up. And I always would say, like, I need to see some daylight through here, or establish the waist. For her, it becomes a really feminine pose when you can see that there's like hip, waist, bust. And so that's like kind of my general go-to. I think that the way we had it, our legs are here, we established the hip. We're gonna just work to try to get a little bit of daylight in there. And that could mean moving her arm over. It could mean, we'll try a few different things, but that becomes where I'm setting the pose. Challenge number 3 is the female body shape. And what we talked about earlier was that you have to approach it with intentionality. Gwen, your brand is really classy and also very feminine. And so you usually ask to be shot in a really classic way, which is small waist, hips,
right,
curves. It's never.
I want to feel feminine and pretty.
Yeah, and it's never over-sexualized, but we want it to be really feminine and appropriate. So knowing that ahead of time, I know I can make decisions as I'm posing her to say, I want to show that there's femininity in her posing, but not exploit it or use too much of it. With that goes into number 4, which is the wardrobe. Gwen has an amazing closet and always has great outfits. Sometimes you'll ask me for a little bit of help on what to grab. And because we have these rooms with such great color, we may say, let's try to shoot the lavender in this room and play with the shoe and the blouse. So you're a little bit of a weird case on this because it's always cool. There are things.
I mean, yeah, with what I do,
you have had a few ideas that I've been like, wait, that's what we're doing. To be fair,
that's fair. But yeah, I think in general, I mean, because of what I do, I have a more extensive wardrobe than a lot of people. So that makes sometimes it a little easier to pick things, but
also harder because we're trying to do something that's cool every time, as opposed to just
for sure.
You used to wear, before you had we used to wear jeans and a button up all the time.
That was like in my kids were little and I was feeling like a little outside of myself style wise. But you really helped me kind of, because for a while the trend kind of was like oversized shirts and longer shirts, and with my body type for what I want to show, that really wasn't great. Yeah. It didn't do anything for me, and so
I always have clips,
right?
And if you say I want to establish the waist, then we may say, okay, but we need to make sure we pull on the back of the shirt here. I mean, we have to do that the majority of the time,
right?
And you'll see that we're going to shoot the next outfit in a dress, and we'll probably have to clip the dress.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes you get clothes that aren't. You have a few brands that have sent you things where it's not specifically for you. Or you didn't go to a store and try it on. So there's some times when you have something that, for the sake of a shot, it needs to be a little bit clipped, even though you wouldn't wear it like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And again, as the photographer, it's my responsibility, anything that's in my frame. So if she loves her outfit, but it isn't showing in the way that she's communicated with me that she wants to be shown, it's my job to bring it up with her and say, hey, I love this, but we need to establish a little bit, like I need to take the shot back, establish your legs, or some way to do it that aligns with our objectives. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Challenge number 5 is hair and makeup. We've shot a few times with a makeup artist and once or twice with a hairstylist, but usually it's just you and I.
Right.
You do a great job with your hair. But when we're shooting, you can't see yourself.
No.
So it's completely dependent on me if I'm shooting her to get her hair correct. If you don't know what hair is supposed to look like for your client, then you have to defer to them. So you may have to shoot it and then show them the camera, or use their phone and say, hey, does your hair look the way you want it to? With Gwen, we've worked together enough that I kind of know. And so how I work with her, I almost always want to bring her hair forward, and I'll even help zhuzh her hair. So I want to kind of show you the process. So right now, I don't love, it's unequal here. Some is going over, this one's going back behind her completely. So I will always say, and I still say it every time.
Yes, every time.
Do you mind if I touch your hair?
Of course.
And
Sure.
so I'll come in, pull hair forward, pull this back. Sometimes if it needs more volume, I'll literally push it here, pull hair off. And that may be kind of a starting point where I get to. I might do this while we're shooting a series of images. I might do this
10 times.
10 times. Because if the shot's up to me and the hair doesn't look right, we're not going to use the shot.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Makeup is a little bit different. There have been maybe a few times where I've said, like in this case, if we're shooting on Lavender, where we say, do you have a little bit stronger lip? Like, do you have and maybe, but that...
I mean, I like it pretty natural.
Correct.
And so I don't do a whole lot. But I do think I've had seasons where I haven't felt comfortable about my skin, like with acne or whatever. And so, I don't know. I mean, that's probably a whole other section.
And we fixed, over the years, we fixed a few things. I've edited your photos like just kind of for fun. And when we over edit your skin, we both hate it because it's like, that doesn't feel...
But what I think is important is that when you're lighting me correctly, there's not a lot that needs to be fixed.
So I would say, even on frame right now, we put her in a spot where we have a large light source over here that's coming in, lighting her pretty evenly. There's a little bit of fall off on this side, obviously, but I don't think that there's a lot that needs to be fixed. So I think by putting you in a spot where we're like, oh, you look great already,
right,
we're not having to address it very much. Challenge number 7 is the common problem areas. Or it seems like my subjects vocalize a few common areas. And one of them...
Women. Yeah.
For women, I found the 2 areas that I think people bring up to me the most are a double chin or their arms looking bigger than they want. Mm-hmm. You have brought up arms before.
For sure.
You are really good at choosing out outfits that don't show your arms in a way.
Right. I mean, I love a sleeve. I think that's a huge help. But also, a lot of that is posture, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll cover that later, but just shoulders back.
Yeah.
Tucking, as opposed, for me personally, I'd rather tuck my elbows back than have them sticking out.
If you bring the elbow towards camera, it would make that arm bigger. Or if you have the person push their arm against the body, it literally flattens their arm out and makes it larger. So finding a lot of it comes down to posing. And for me, I know this about you. And so I keep it in my head while I'm shooting that I just have to make that check. My mental check is like, how's her arm? How's her chin? How's her arm? How's her chin? Right. We're good? Okay, keep shooting. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Great. Let's get shooting.